Alright then guys, welcome back to another video from Reef Drama. Today we're going to go through and have a look at what I'm about to install in the tank, and it's this Deltec UV Steriliser, which is the 20 watt, as you can see there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it out on the table, we're going to have a look at it, we're going to have a look at the pipe work and all the plumbing and everything that I've purchased as well to plumb it all in. And then we're going to go and take a look at the tank and see where I'm actually going to be fitting it and the reasons kind of why I'm doing it like that. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Alright then guys, so this is everything now. So we've got the box itself, so quick unbox what we get in here. As I say, it was a Deltec 20 watt UV steriliser, so we get instruction manuals, power consumption, water flow rates, that sort of stuff. If I put that there, hopefully you'll be able to pause the video perhaps so you can have a little look at that information. So we've got the instructions, we've also got the actual UV carcass, I suppose, itself. Down in there is obviously where we would put the bulb into that and then screw the connector on, and then on the two ends, so here and here, is where we're going to screw on our unions. So they're going to basically just sort of screw on there like so, and then we'll be able to put the hard plumbing pipe into the end there. And then the reason for the union, if you don't know, is that it can come apart so that you can basically remove it then for cleaning and replacing the bulb, etc. So that's the reason why I've got two unions. Also in the box we've got the ballast. So this is the end that will connect onto the light bulb, the UV bulb that will go down inside the unit, and then you've got the power cord and adapter there, and that will then plug into that, obviously for 3-pin UK socket. I don't know why those screws are loose. I suppose once we've plugged that into there, we then have to screw that up. So I've not seen that before. Interesting. Yeah, they're both loose. That must be what that is. And then inside this box, slide it out without touching the bulb. It's very important that when you do receive these, that you don't touch the bulb itself with your fingers, because obviously if you've got any oils or anything on your fingers, then it's just going to print it onto the bulb and it will lessen the life. But if I can just open it up, so we've got the sleeve there, that's what the bulb will go inside, and then the bulb is actually inside that little cardboard box. So like I say, I don't really want to get any of that out until I absolutely have to. And then also within the box you do get a couple of hose tails, so you could, if you wanted to flexi pipe this, you would just screw that onto the ends and then you could just put your flexi pipe onto here and then obviously clamp it up. But we're not going to be using these because, as you can see on the table, we are going to be hard plumbing. So what I've got on the table there, if I just zoom you in a bit, wrong way, zoom you in a bit so you can see what we've got. So I've got 3 lengths of 1 meter pipe. I've also got the 2 unions that will attach to the UV itself, and then I've got another union which will go onto my pump. This little adapter here will actually get solvent welded into this, which will then reduce it down so that the pipe then can fit into it. Actually, wrong way around. Sorry, one sec. Pop that into there, and then the pipe then, there we go, just to prove that it works, that then goes into there. So I've just got to remember that. Wow, if you don't put that round the right way and you solvent weld it in, yeah, you're screwed. So be very careful if you are going to be using the little reducer there to make sure that you get it the right way round. So we got that, we've got 2 taps, so these will go either side of the UV itself, so I can obviously close them off both sides, and then I can use the unions then to remove the UV. We've got an array of 90s, and I've also got a couple of 45s as well. So 90s, 45s, and I've also got, just to finish it all off, I've got some pipe clips as well, 3 of those. And that's it. That should be everything that I need to get it up and running. Right then guys, so this is the right hand side, obviously the empty dry cupboard of the aquarium. So we've got here, as you already know, a quick peek. So we've got the Red Sea Reefer 625 XL G2, and as I say, we've got the dry cupboard on the right hand side. So where I'm going to be installing the UV, and I brought it with me just to show you. So we've got the light bulb will go in at the top there, the UV bulb, and what I'm going to do, if I can hold it back far enough so you can see, is it's going to be basically screwed onto the side of the cabinet, sort of like that kind of thing. Now the reason for that is, what I'm going to do is where it's going to exit out the top, it's going to do a 90 and it's going to go straight out the back to sort of somewhere around here, and it's going to go 90 straight up, and then it's going to come out the top here, another 90, a little sort of length, and then another 90 straight down back into the tank. So we're going to be taking it from the sump and running it back into the tank. Now I know the best way really to do it is to have it coming from the tank and returning back to the tank, but I don't really want a pump, you know, in the tank. And you know, the other reason why I want to do it from the sump and then back to the tank is it's another kind of redundancy, isn't it? So again, if my main pump fails, then hopefully this one will still continue, so the tank will still get some flow, it will still get cycling down through the sump, albeit obviously a lot slower, and go through all the filtration and the skimmer and everything else. So kind of a bit of a redundancy sort of option there. So when the UV is down here, so the way that it's going to enter into the UV is it's going to come out the bottom and it's going to go straight across the bottom of the cupboard here, and then it will do a 90, and there'll be like a clip here and also a tap. Oh, and there'll also be a tap up here as well. So when it comes out the top, it will go along, go through a tap, and that's where I'll be able to turn the tap off there. You know, basically just to stop any water from running back down from the tank. So it will come across here, it will do a 90, and it will come up the side here, and then see where the gap is. We've got a gap here. It will basically do another 90, it will go through there, and then another 90 and drop straight down. And on the other side of that is obviously where the sump is, and hopefully you can see that gap there at the back. That's where it's going to come out, where those airline pipes are for the for taking the water sample there into the G8L KH director. So it will come out through there, and it will basically just sort of drop straight down, and it will go into, if you can see very well, but it will go into the last chamber there, which is where the return pumping is going back up to the main tank. There we go. So it will just sit in there. So I'll just have to move those nanotech bio balls, and the pump will go in there. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to raise up the pump off the bottom of the glass of the sump itself. So I've got the pump I'm going to use actually is in here. So I'm going to use this pump. Now this is a 3,000 litre per hour pump, 25 watts, and that's what the union is going to connect onto. If you basically just unscrew that, and then the union screws straight onto there. Obviously I put some plumber's tape on that as well, just to prevent any leaks. But the reason for raising it up off the bottom of the sump is so that if I have to replace this for a 4000, which I've also got out in the garage, then you know I'm not going to have to kind of shorten the pipe somehow. So I'm giving myself that sort of extra sort of space to be able to do that for future changing it or increasing the size of the pump if that 3000 doesn't quite do it. Obviously I have to get the 4000. Pump down in the return pump section of the sump, pumps it up, pumps it over through that hole, back down the other side, back down here, across the bottom to a tap, into the UV. It will go up the UV, it will go out the top of the UV, again to another tap, and then it will do a 90, go straight up, and then it will come up and out over the top of the tank and then come down. And you know, I might have it coming down here and then have a 90 coming out. I might just have it going sort of straight down towards the sand. I don't know yet how I'm going to do that. What I do know is the top little bit here that will come out, that final piece that will drop down from the 90, I won't solvent weld in, because I will want to be able to remove that and then change it up, you know, if I need to. But all the other bits and pieces will all get solvent welded together. So that's where it's going. That's how we're going to basically plumb it in, and the reasons why. So all that's left to do now is basically empty this cupboard out and then start measuring and cutting and doing a dry fit before we actually do any solvent welding. Hopefully, what is it? Measure once, cut twice. That's normally me. All right, see you in a bit. All right then, guys, a little quick update on where we are at the moment. So as you can see, UV there. I'm actually going to just probably whack a screw in there in a moment just to kind of hold it in place. But UV there, raised it up off the bottom. Pipe coming along, haven't cut the tap in yet, so I'll do that afterwards. And I'm going to obviously have to put like a little support there for the pipe clip to clip onto, because it's obviously too high. And then 90 goes up, pipe clip about there somewhere, and then 90 up over the top. So that's where we're at the moment. And I did I did measure once and I cut once. Ooh, risky. Right, let's carry on. Right, another progress update for you guys. So we've got it all now installed at the top here. Again, still dry fitted, going along, going straight up. And if you follow that up all the way around the back of the tank, comes out there. So then obviously all I'm going to have now is just a little piece coming out, another 90 straight down, and then after that I'll kind of sort out whatever is going to happen. I've still got the tap, as I mentioned before, to go onto there, and then have like a block of wood underneath to hold it all up using one of the little pipe clips. And then the other tap, I'm in two minds. I don't know whether to put it like here on this down pipe sort of section, or have it, you know, on this section there, which will just fit in. I'm thinking here, because once it's turned off, there's then a lot less water in this little bit that when I undo the union to come out, whereas I guess if it's up there, then I'm going to have water from sort of halfway up the tap, and all of this will be full of water. So when I undo the union, all that will pour out, right? Yeah, I think I'm going to try and get it, whoops, on that section there. The other side, not sure if you've seen yet. So that's coming through there, got a 90, and then I've got a little wee 45. So the plan for this is we'll have another little section of pipe coming out with another 45 that will then make it go straight down, and then that will line up with the pump that will be down there next to the main kind of return pump, that J Bauer 10,000 litre per hour one. So pretty much right where those, can't get the camera in any further, but right where those bio balls are, nanotech bio balls, that's where the second pump, the UV pump we'll call it, will sit right there. So progress update report complete, as you can see, using the pipe cutter and obviously other little bits and pieces scattered about. I have screwed that in up there. There's only one screw at the moment just holding it in place, and then that's just down there just to raise it up off the bottom slightly. Oh, the reason for that is Why do I want it raised up off the bottom? Well, I want to be able to unscrew this union. So let's see if we can do, oh no, it's gonna, all the pipe's gonna fall, can't do that. So unscrew the union, that will separate this point here. I'll unscrew that screw there, and the other side of that one will have a screw in. So that will have to get unscrewed. And then the idea is then this UV will then tilt kind of this way. So I've got enough gap then here to remove the bulb. That's the plan anyway. Let's crack on. Right, sit rep, here we go. So tap is in at the bottom, as you can see, and we've also got the little pipe clip holder there, which is standing on this piece of wood. Now I'll cut this down so it's probably only about, you know, so wide, and then that will just fit lovely underneath that pipe clip. So that's beautiful. That pipe clip there will obviously get secured to the side of the cabinet. But yeah, that tap is in, so very happy with that. So close. Don't know if you can see, let me quickly put the light on, how close that was really to not fitting, shall we say. But yeah, well, you know, I measured it and it worked out perfect, so I'm going to take the credit for it. So yeah, that's all in, so I'm really happy with that. And then if we come over the other side, I've also got, as you can see down in there, the pump is just sat in place at the moment, and we've kind of extended that pipe down. We've got a little 45 at the bottom there, so that's now just waiting for the downpipe bit that will join that 45 to the top of the pump, which does need to be, which is there on that union, but that pump does need to be raised up, as I mentioned before. And what I've done for that is, just out of some egg crate, I've just made this little stand. So I've got the little bit in the center there just to stop these legs, I suppose, from sort of folding outwards. So they're all connected, so that's nice. And then that will just sit on the bottom of the sump, whichever way around I want it. Pump will sit on there. Remember, 3,000 litres per hour one. If that's not powerful enough, I can drop my 4,000 litre one in, because the union fits the same pump, so that's good. And then I can just like lower this to sort of compensate for the size difference between the 3,000 and the 4,000 or 4,500 or whatever it is. So that's all ready to be finished. And then we've also got the top bit over here. That's all done. And then what we're going to do here is I will turn the return pump off, let the water drain down, and then this little downpipe that I'll put in here will be just above the level of the water once the return pump has stopped, so that it doesn't create a back siphon. So yeah, hopefully I have taken all necessary precautions, and it will work like a charm. So next thing now is going to be, well, I need to finish that little bit off in there, and then it will be starting to solvent weld everything. And then once everything is solvent welded, then I'll turn it on, minus the bulb and the sleeve. We'll just run it without that to start with, probably run that for a couple of days, and then we'll stop it and then put the UV bulb in, and then yeah, it'll be up and running. So awesome, very happy with that, and I will get back to you when I've next got the time to carry on. See you later. All right then guys, so just another quick update then for you. So as you can see, I'm in the middle of now solvent welding all the joints. So what I'm going to do is just going to quickly show you the solvent weld that I'm using, and then kind of like my method of how I do it. So if I just put this down here, like so. So the actual solvent weld I've got here from Cockney Koi. Obviously it specialises in for aquariums and for fish and everything else. So you've got sort of storage instructions and assembly method and stuff like that on the back, and then all you get inside is you get the little kind of brush thing, as you can see there, comes with it. Just remember to shake this really well before you start using it, and always use it in like a, you know, good ventilated sort of area. I've got like all the doors open here, so that should be fine. And then just want to show you what I do really. So where I've kind of mocked this up as like a dry fit, I suppose you could say, I've now marked like on the pipe and then on the next sort of joint to it, my lines, so that you know, when I take this off and I go to glue it, I know that when I put it back on, I've got to kind of line it up so those two lines are lined. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to take that apart. Hopefully you can still see all of this, and then it's a case of undoing this, and then we will pop this in here. Just give it a few sort of turns around inside, like so. And then on the outside of this one, because of course this is going into the tap, just do it like so. A couple of turns again, and then where's the line? And then we'll take this, and then I usually offset the lines so that when I feed it on, I can sort of twist it into place as I'm feeding it in, and then make sure those two lines are fully lined up. If you've got any excess, then I usually just kind of wipe it around just like so, and that's it. That's how I do my solvent welding. Okay, I'm going to carry on, and then I'll come back to you probably when it's all done. Right then guys, so we are now ready for the big turn on. So we've got everything all plumbed in, managed to get all the pipe work all up there, everything's solvent welded, all down there, all through the UV. At the moment I've got both the taps are in the on position, everything is wired in. I've just kind of done, excuse the mess in there, but I've just kind of done a temporary thing here. So we've got the power socket just here for the pump, and then we've got the power socket here for the UV. There's also a little switch on it, which I don't know which one is on or off, but hopefully there's a light on here that will tell us. So we're going to put the pump on first. We're then going to be watching very, very carefully for any leaks, and then kind of once I'm happy with that, I'll then turn the UV on. So let's fire this up for the first time. A bit nerve-wracking. So I'm going to watch the pipe work in here, I think, because at least the plumbing in the other side is kind of above the tank, above the sump, isn't it? So let's see what happens. Oh, we've also got a load of towels and tea towels and kitchen towel. So and we've got the PTFE, whatever it is, plumber's tape on there. I've got it on the union, and also where the union connects to the UV, top and bottom. Hopefully you can see the white little bit, that is the plumber's tape. So without further ado, let's do this. Right, pump, plug this in. Okay, good. Speed 1. Let's see what happens. Keeping my hand on the plug so I can pull it straight out if anything happens. And more kind of what's it around the UV itself and those unions. Never used unions before, so just keeping an eye on everything. I've already turned off my auto top off because it's obviously going to take water out of the sump. Oh, tell you what, look what we got happening up here. Can you see the bubbles in there? So that is the water going in. I keep looking at the UV. Sorry for the camera going all over the place, but I need to check, and also want to kind of check with you guys as well at the same time. I can't see any leaks up there at all. Yes, that's a bit noisy because the water has dropped, as I've said. Still can't see any leaks in there. I am going to turn the camera off in a second though, so I can have a real good look around. And round the back here, let me turn the light on. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Got the pipe coming up the back. You can just about see it there, the grey pipe. Yeah, I mean that's one solid piece. So apart from the obviously the joints on that bit, that's really all there is to it. But yeah, so far so good. Really happy with that. Let's turn this light back on again. No leaks. So what I'm going to do now off camera is I'm just going to top off with some salt water, because obviously the level of the sump has dropped. So we're going to get that done and carry on spot checking for leaks. And then I'm going to come back once I'm happy with all of that, and perhaps also quieten down that bit up there, because that's making a bit of noise. I'll just put a little piece of pipe on. I've got some sort of spare bits, little bits down here, look. Then we will turn on the UV itself. So I'll be right back. Right, well, as promised, we've come back now to just turn this on. Really, it's probably going to be a bit of an anticlimax, but we'll see what happens. Let's plug it in. I don't think it's really going to do much apart from turn that little light on. I can do this one-handed. There we go, plugged in. Little light has come on, so I'm assuming that that means that bulb is on inside there, but I've got no way of telling because obviously we've hard plumbed it. Now if you'd have done the flexi hose, you would have had the hose tails connected to that, and they are clear, so you would see the light, the UV light coming through those two kind of hose tails. But as I say, we're hard plumbed, so I've only got that as a guide to go with. So I think when the red light comes on, it means there's like a problem, and there's like a bit of an audible warning as well through this little tiny speaker. But yeah, all good. So I've got the little pipe just poking down out there as well. At the moment, I'm in the process of trying to level kind of this bit here, going down that sort of emergency overflow, just to try and cut out the noise. And that's with that, of course. So that's going to take some time, but I think that is all good and a success. It makes a change. Reef drama usually has dramas, but this time we're all right. Happy days. All right then, guys, so it is now the next day. So the UV has been running for, I don't know, yesterday, last night, and then up till now it's about 2 o'clock. So all being well, there's been no issues so far, no leaks still, so that's amazing. Really happy with that. I've done a few tests as well. So we've turned the return pump off and left the UV pump running, and it was enough to sort of just keep that sort of cycle going around and keeping the sump alive if anything ever went wrong with the return pump. I've turned the UV pump off and left the main pump running, and yes, it does create that back siphon, but the main pump is powerful enough to keep it going and not obviously allow the water to overflow the sump and then, you know, flood all over the place. And what was the third test? The third test was what was the third test? I can't remember now, but I've done about 3 different tests of different scenarios, of different things that can potentially go wrong, and it's all worked out fine, so no issues whatsoever. Oh, I think if they both fail, then obviously the water goes down low enough below this pipe here, and that cuts off that back siphon anyway, so that's all good. So really happy with that. It's just worth mentioning, just with regards to this Deltec 20 watt UV, I did flash it up on the screen before, but it does have a quartz sleeve and a quartz bulb, so theoretically it makes it the equivalent of a 40 watt UV, so happy with that. All I've got to do now is I've just got to measure the amount of water that's coming out in, say, 1 minute, find out how many, you know, litres or millilitres or whatever that is, and then work out kind of, you know, what I need to adjust and what's the best kind of amount, you know, for whether it's, you know, the parasites or whatever it is that I'm going after. So most likely it will be to help sort of control the kind of ick and all that sort of stuff. So that's what I'll be looking to do. I don't know if you can pick it up on the screen, but on the front of the glass here, we've got a Bergia nudibranch, so there will be a video coming up of an update next one, maybe the one after. With regards to those, it's now been 2 months and 4 days since I put those in the tank. So update coming on that, and also another update that's going to be coming is with regards to the fish that I've now got in the QT that are just there, but I'm not going to show you. So you're going to have to come back and watch the video of the new fish that I've got in the QT right now that will eventually be making their way into the main tank. So we have restocked, guys. So we're part way there. They are just there and they're not in there just yet, but they will get there once they've gone through that quarantine procedure. So that's pretty much it now for me. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now.
Easy go.